Hello and welcome to another edition of Superhero Movie Review Time. I'm your host, Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. This week I'm going to be reviewing Constantine. Now, a lot of people, actually myself included, didn't realise that this was a DC production, because this is well before the Marvel transitions and obviously all the DC movies that come out. So I'm going to take a second to explain to other people that may not have realised who John Constantine is. But if you do know, let your mind wander for a couple of minutes. John Constantine was a lead character of a comic book series called Hellblazer. His powers are basically magic, whether it be spells, rituals or curses, and has actually even manipulated Batman and Superman at one point. He's also meant to be a blonde from Liverpool. Wow, really bad start there. So now we've got that out of the way, let's continue with the review. So we start off with basically some text on screen saying whoever holds the Spear of Destiny controls the universe. Bollocks. Great. But then it goes on to say that the spear's been missing since World War II. I'm okay then, maybe we're going to get something like a bit National Treasure like, where he goes on like a quest to find the Spear of Destiny. So where's this film start out, do you reckon? Germany, Poland, Paris? Mexico. Alright, fair enough. So we see a couple of Mexicans playing in the dirt in the ruins of a church when one of them accidentally stumbles onto a hole in the floor where he uncovers a Nazi flag wrapped around well, I'm going to assume this is the Spear of Destiny. Yep, spot on. So he then gets possessed and runs out in front of a car. The car hits him, but the car kind of splits off into two pieces and the guy is absolutely fine. You see in his eyes he's possessed and he flees off into the distance. Hang on a minute. Mexicans playing in the dirt. A destroyed Christianity symbol in Mexico, by the way, with the thing that killed Jesus Christ wrapped in a Nazi flag. Did Donald Trump write this? He's very, very anti-Mexico right now. So the film takes over to Los Angeles and we finally get introduced to the Constantine character, who has been summoned to an apartment block to perform an exorcism. And I got to admit, the visual of Keanu Reeves punching a Hispanic woman in the neck to cure her of her demon literally made my day. Honestly, I was giggling like a schoolgirl for about 20 minutes. I had to pause the film. So Constantine traps the demon inside into a mirror and then throws the mirror outside where the mirror breaks and seemingly kills the demon off. And I'm like, okay, it's an interesting theory. They didn't really explain how he knew that would work or why he'd even think of doing that. But yeah, okay, the visuals were pretty cool. But the film kind of gives me a bit of a because Keanu Reeves has a sidekick like all these early 2000 films had to give you, and it happens to be Shia LaBeouf. I like Shia LaBeouf, but the guy's crazy and his earlier stuff really wasn't that interesting, and he doesn't really give much for this performance. He plays it by the law, basically. You know, he's very much the typical sidekick character, and all he does is like throw in the odd catchphrase and go, yeah man, I like a lot. But it turns out that Constantine actually has very aggressive lung cancer due to his excessive chain smoking, which is actually a reference to the comic books, how Constantine was always smoking. So he's taken it upon himself to go around deporting demons. Seriously, Trump, you definitely wrote this, didn't you? Don't deny it, I know you did. So he's deporting demons on the belief that if he deports enough, he'll buy his way into heaven. But the angel Gabriel, played by Tilda Swinton, tells him he's never going to get into heaven because he doesn't believe enough and he doesn't respect the faith enough. And basically because when he was younger, he committed suicide, which is, in this film, a big no-no, big sin. You cannot commit suicide. Just remember that little bit of nugget of information right there. Committing suicide, bad, equals go to hell. Comes up later, trust me. So the film now introduces us to the next big character, Rachel Weisz, who kills herself. Yeah, she's on screen for less than a minute and she jumps off a roof. I looked at the back of the cover, I was like, whoa, her name's boldly printed on there quite high up and they just kill her off. It's pretty fucking annoying when you think about it. Oh, it turns out she's got a twin sister. Of course she does. So it appears that the twin sister was in an insane asylum, and so one night she thinks she's hearing voices. She is insane, it's not unheard of. And so she runs up to the roof, turns back to the security camera that she somehow knows is there, and just whispers, "Constantine," and then jumps to her death. Alright, fair enough. But the other Rachel Weisz character, a cop named Angela, believes that she would never commit suicide as I said earlier, she's a Catholic, and so suicide is a mortal sin. It's a big no-no. You cannot commit suicide, otherwise you cannot get into heaven. Remember that, because it comes up a fucking lot. So she believed that it was a form of murder. Maybe she was brainwashed, or maybe it was the supernaturals who got to her. So after reviewing the footage of her sister killing herself, which looks like it was shot for an Evanescence music video, there's only so many times a beautiful woman can climb a rooftop with wind blowing through her hair that you kind of think of Bring Me to Life. But as she discovers that her sister's last words were Constantine, she tracks down the man John Constantine, and they take part in the ever-famous game of Person 1 needs someone to deal with the supernatural. Person 2 declines. Person 1 storms out. Person 2 tries to warn Person 1 from supernatural. Person 1 claims supernatural crap is fake. Person 2 saves Person 1 from supernatural. Person 1 believes in supernatural. And the film moves on. So Constantine decides to go to hell. Just like going on EasyJet, apparently. So the plan is basically to go to hell and discover if the sister, whose name is Isabel, is actually in hell, and if she committed suicide because she's insane, or she was persuaded to by the devil and his demons. He achieves reaching hell by sitting in a chair with his feet dunked in a bowl of water, holding on to a cat. Well, how else are you going to get there? It's not fucking Google Maps. So in hell, John Constantine finds Isabel and recovers her hospital tag off of her wrists, and he manages to grab it just before the demons grab him, and then the only way to describe it is he grabs something out of his pocket and smashes it against his chest, which teleports him back into the real world. Is that ever explained how he did that? Of course not. It looked great, but once again, I'm sitting there going, how did he do that? Just what did he do? And another thing that quite annoys me is if you watch the video of Isabel killing herself, she removes the wristband off her wrist and lets it fly off, and then looks intently at the camera while going, Constantine, and then drops. So how did he recover the wristband in hell when it was released in Los Angeles in that building? We now get the film's strangest scene, and this says a lot, bear in mind we're dealing with angels and demons here. Constantine has got a fat friend. He's a priest, and you see him very briefly at the start. He then breaks into a morgue. And the reason I'm stuttering here is because I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck actually happened here. So bear with me. The fat priest breaks into a morgue, okay? He then goes over to a body and starts groping it. Yeah, this guy's clearly on the good side, obviously. So he's groping away, and he realises the corpse has got a symbol of a circle with a cross through it on her wrist. This is the same as the Mexican from the start. After he picked up the Spear of Destiny, he got a symbol on his wrist too. This freaks him out for some reason. So you think, okay, you know a guy like Constantine who deals with the supernatural shit. Get to a payphone, get your mobile phone out, get something out to contact Constantine. What does he do? He freaks out, he flees the morgue, runs over to a local liquor store, and then drowns himself to death in alcohol. But while he's drowning, he picks up a sharp object and carves the symbol into his palm. Why? Literally, no, and then he literally just dies, and then Constantine finds him later and he's like, why didn't you call me, you son of a bitch? Good fucking question! You have this guy, it's like seeing a ghost and you knowing the Ghostbusters and you thinking, well fuck this, I might as well just die. Call the fucking Ghostbusters! It's so fucking awesome, just... Have you noticed that people in movies don't use logic that often? They literally go off gut instinct. So when Keanu Reeves finds the symbol in the fat priest's hands, he sends that image over to another friend of his called B-Man to hopefully interpret what this symbol means. What does B-Man mean? I'm really hoping it's Bill, because then we have Bill and Ted 3, kick Satan in the balls. So it turns out the symbol is the sign of the devil's son, Mammon. So not Damien then. Alright, yeah, cool, I'll go with it. Mammon though, really? I don't know if that's actually a religious thing. I'm not a very religious person, but it's kind of a goofy name. You know, when you think of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, his son Damien, and his retarded brother, Mammon. I can't take him seriously already, I'm sorry. So basically when this sign appears, it means that the devil's son, Mammon, is getting impatient and he wants to rule the world before his dad does, and basically he's just like, I want to do it. His dad's like, no. But in order for Mammon to take over the world and bring his first coming, he needs to possess a very powerful psychic. And I'm like, oh, okay, psychics are in this film. Believe me when I say this, they use that term psychic very, very nonchalantly. Hell, for all I know, I could be a psychic. This is possible because I never show any ability to read people's minds or tell fortunes or, prophesize anything. Literally, they just say, oh, they're a psychic. Okay. And that's it. It's now rule of thumb. There's no indication that they're a psychic. They just say that's a psychic. Very disappointed. But it also turns out that Mammon needs divine intervention to help him conquer Earth, aka the blood of God or Jesus, aka the Spear of Destiny. You get where I'm coming from. But before B-Man can help Keanu Reeves in a really important way and give him more information that will help him tackle the problem at hand, he is of course killed off. Moving on. He's killed pretty much off screen by another side character of this film called Balthazar, who I think could have probably done with more screen time for us to really see him as a villain, but he kind of gets like 2 or 3 scenes and you don't really see much of what he does. But it turns out he's just a pawn in the real bad guy's plan. But he kills him off in a pretty cool style. He does go pretty much Wicker Man on him, but not bees, but with flies, which is kind of annoying. His name's Bee-Man. Come on, kill him with bees and Wicker Man. It'd be fun. So, in one of the talks that Constantine and Angela have, she reveals that when she was younger, both her and her sister Isabel could see these supernatural things. So why were you so dismissive of it earlier? But it turns out that she lost this ability because she just started to lie and say, I don't see them, and then by proxy she stopped believing in it. Okay, it's a sound theory, I guess, if you're 10, but I wanted something with a bit more context. But she wants to regain this power to be of help to Constantine.
Mr. Reeves, we're recording now. Stop trying to kill Rachel.
Wasn't luck. I've always known. I've always known that I could see. I've always known that I could see.
Thanks.
Someone was here.
But I've got to say, Keanu Reeves really does sell the whole I'm killing you and I just don't care. Now that lack of emotion that he usually brings to his character really actually works this time round. So after attempting to drown her, they kind of symbolises that she died, but then she then comes back to life during this whole segment, and it's kind of a bit goofy really, but then it turns out she's now on page with Constantine. She can see what he sees now, Does this help her character? Does this progress her story arc? No! She comes down with a case of Mary Jane Watson and gets her ass captured. Not even 10 minutes later, she has been captured by Mammon. What really grinds at me though is the fact that they had the balls to write in the script like, okay, you stay in the car, I'll go and deal with the problem. She waits maybe 10 seconds and goes, takes off her coat, removes the protective amulet that Constantine gave her to keep her safe. Dick. And then she has the balls to go, men. And then she gets herself captured. I don't want to bring up the war of sexism here. We all know there should be equality, but there isn't quite enough equality. But for fuck's sake, they wrote this like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. So with no idea what to do next, Constantine goes to visit an ally called Papa Midnight, played by Digimon Honsu. I've probably butchered his name there, but I really like this guy. Seriously, Blood Diamond, Never Back Down, even in Guardians of the Galaxy. Guy's amazing. They couldn't resist a fucking Matrix thing, could they? I know he was in his height of Matrix, but really, inserting your hand into him like Smith would? Come on now. But Constantine actually convinces Midnight to help him on his quest, so Midnight lets him use the chair! What does the chair do, you say? It basically helps people find other people via the spirit world, I guess. They literally don't explain what this chair does. Apart from that, it was used to kill people years ago when the death sentence was still around. And so Constantine straps himself onto it, and Midnight electrocutes him, and then he finds where he needs to go. And guess where he's got to go? To where Angela's sister committed suicide at the start of the fucking film. Full circle. Much like the Hangover movies, really. So then we actually get to the big climax of the film. And you know what? As goofy as it is, I do actually enjoy it. And so we get Constantine and Shia LaBeouf. Oh yeah, he's still in this film. He hasn't really done anything, but he's still there. They race off to save the day. So when they go to the mental hospital, Constantine finds himself completely surrounded by demons in human form. And asks them all very politely to leave or he will deport them. All I'm hearing is Trump. Seriously, every line of dialogue when it comes to Constantine, I'm just thinking Trump. But in the background, Shia LaBeouf has blessed the water system and put a holy cross into the actual basin. And when Constantine turns on the sprinkler system, it douses all the demons in holy water. Alright, yeah, I'll admit that was pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. And then we basically get one hell of a massacre where Keanu Reeves starts killing all the demons with his pimp gun. Because that's not a holy gun, that's a pimp gun. And I've got to admit, it does really try to pull off what Blade did. And let's face it, Blade wasn't that good anyway. So, okay, it's still good, it's still fun to watch. But you can tell the way the demons crumble is exactly the same technique they used with Blade. So the pair of them fight through the room and they finally find Angela, who's also been possessed by a demon, and they perform an exorcism on her to bring her back. If that was an option, do you care to explain the fucking massacre back there 30 seconds ago? I mean, shit. Yeah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're sexy. I'm gonna save you. That's literally what this film's basically told me. But whilst I have a quick breather, savouring in the whole, hey, we saved the fit girl again, a demon off screen invisibly grabs Shia LaBeouf and then ceiling, floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling, floor, and kills him off. Moving on. So Constantine commands that the person responsible for this show themselves into the light. And to the film's credit, I actually enjoyed this reveal. Because I was expecting a great big CG demon monster, portraying Mammon, and I'm very happy with what I got, because with the big CGI Mammon, I was expecting all this fucking Agent Smith and Neo posturing and talking, and everyone puckering their lips, and it would just been very, very off-putting. But what we got was actually a lot better. It turns out the angel Gabriel, her from the start, who's not been seen since that one scene, is actually one pulling all the strings behind all this. And I was like, okay, interesting twist, They didn't give away at all whatsoever. Although now I think about it, that is exactly the same as Scooby-Doo. It was the guy from the start. However, her reasonings and the philosophy behind it all was very, very intriguing. She had been getting disillusioned with God's plan, and she hates how all of his things could be basically described as God works in mysterious ways. And she hates how murderers and rapists and paedophiles can just be forgiven and still go to heaven. But hang on. If it is that simple to just be forgiven, why doesn't Constantine just do this? Yeah, if a murderer and a rapist and a paedophile can just go there and go, we're sorry, and still go to heaven, what's so different about Constantine? A, he's doing the God's work. B, he does sort of believe, even though they bring up in the film, he knows, not believes. Okay, interesting. But if it's that simple, surely he just needs to go confessional once or twice a week, and then he's golden. So the angel Gabriel disposes of Constantine quite easily and then goes on to fulfill the prophecy of killing Rachel Wise with a spearhead that was used to kill Jesus Christ, that was hidden in Mexico wrapped in a Nazi flag, that was then hand delivered by Fed SA. What, you don't remember that from Ezekiel 25:17? So Constantine formulates a plan on the spot. He slashes his own wrists, goes suicidal. Keep that in mind. And this makes all the time stand still as the devil himself enters the film, and it is underwhelming. Seriously, I was very, very let down by this performance, actor, script, direction. Everything was just like build up to quite a huge momentum, and then just goes, nope. First of all, his entrance. Like, you think the devil, you're thinking he's gonna like rip open the ground and parade through in all his glory, or just appear out the shadows like he was always there watching, like a real intrigue. Do you know what this film does? It literally shits him into the film. Yeah. Like he was defecated onto our screens for our fucking enjoyment. Second of all, yeah, okay, you could call me a nitpick all you want, but the film insists on this symbolism. So this confuses me. They dress the devil in all white. I don't honestly have a problem what the fuck a character wears, unless it's really stupid. However, this film spent the entire time showing you angels in white and demons in black or dark colours, right? The symbolism is very, very clear. So why the fuck is this guy wearing a white suit? What's that meant to symbolise? That there's actually good in the devil? They've tried something, but not explained why they've done it, and for me that's why it fails. It doesn't make sense and ruins the tone of the film. So before the devil can take his soul, Constantine tells him what's going on in the room behind him, how Mammon is rising to power. The devil goes there and puts a stop to everything. So the ending of this film is basically me saying, I'm going to tell your dad on you. Yeah, let that sink in. What mastermind wrote that one up, I wonder? So the devil throws Mammon back into hell and destroys Gabriel's wings, turning her into a human. And then he then goes back for Constantine's soul, but finds that he can't drag him any further. The ground has stopped him from dragging him. And then the heavens open up, and because of Constantine's self-sacrifice, he's allowed into heaven. The film has spent the entire time telling us, if you commit suicide, you go to hell. He slashed his wrists to summon the devil. That is the most hardcore anti-Christian thing I've ever heard of. And yet, because he then stopped the Antichrist from coming and taking over Earth, which they've also clarified, God doesn't care about that. He's a guy with an ant farm. That's actually in the script. But committing suicide and then doing that, he's fine to go to heaven. The film contradicts itself in the last 20 minutes so badly. But the devil interferes and then restores Constantine back to life and actually removes his lung cancer. This devil guy's actually pretty alright when you think about it. So the film winds down to an end and it shows Constantine telling Rachel Wise to take the Spear of Destiny and hide it from the world, including himself. And it ends with him opening up a pack of gum because he's quit smoking. I see what you did there. And we actually do get an after credits scene where Constantine visits Shia LaBeouf's grave, and then as he goes to walk away, Shia LaBeouf appears in full angel outfit. Oh, at least he went to heaven. And that was Constantine. Pretty much a mixed bag right there. But as always, I'm going to give you my 3 good and 3 bad. Starting, of course, with a 3 bad. So at number 3, I kind of went into a lot more detail a moment ago, but for me it was the devil. The guy was such an overactor, and the symbolism and the voice and the thing, it didn't sit well for me. The whole film had a set tone going throughout, and it was very, very intriguing, and it really absorbed me into the story. And then the second this film shat this William Shatner wannabe into the movie, I lost it. I was sitting there just like, this is pretty goofy. Not a fan. Really not a fan. The actor, I've not seen him in many things, but I don't want to offend him because I've not seen much of his work, but from just this alone, I didn't like it. My second problem with this film. the way hell works. No, hear me out on this one. I'm not saying like people are doing 9 to 5 jobs or anything stupid like that, but they make it clear that Constantine has made many trips to hell, right? He even says the words, "Oh, this is the part I hate," and then goes into hell. Now, seeing the devil can see everything, everything human related, basically, he can track people, and they say so many times in this film, John Constantine's soul is the only soul the devil himself would go up to heaven and take personally, because of the ventured hatred and investment and how much he dislikes Constantine, that he wants his soul to torture for all of eternity. That being said, you remember when he goes into hell at the start of the film and recovers the hospital wristband and the demons almost catch him? So there's already they've established an element of if you get caught in hell, you're staying there. So surely the devil would know when Constantine's about to go to hell. Why wouldn't you have people waiting for him the second he transported there, fucking bundle and grab him, and then it's done, you've solved it, the film's over. But they don't. It's a very strange place, hell. I can't say I've been there myself, but I like to think I try. And my number one problem with this film, and it's a big one this time, is there's far too many scenes that just go nowhere, and they're never ever explained. Right? Just before Angela contacts Constantine, she's watching the video of her sister kill herself, right? And her mobile rings. No one answers. Their phone rings, no one answers. And their fax phone answers. And all these phones keep going off. Why? Just why? They never explain why these phones are ringing. You can argue the interpretation being the devil's trying to play with her mind. Why? Just why? No. If you imagine the day-to-day life of the devil and the demon, yeah, they can talk to some people here and there sort of thing, but there's no reason. She has not begun her search to take down the bad people yet. She's literally just about to start. And she doesn't even say to Constantine, "No, this is really weird that thing happened when all my phones started to ring." It's just seen with all her phones ringing, she goes, "I don't like this," and leaves. And you remember the fat priest? There's a scene before he dies where he's reading newspapers like this. Apparently he can read with his hands. Is he a metahuman? Is he an angel? Is he something that heaven rejected? What the fuck is he? They don't explain a thing. And it's all good that the ideas are there, but we, the audience, who may not have read the comic books or even realise he was a comic book character, we don't know what the fuck's going on. But okay, let's go on to the good stuff now. So at number 3, I gotta say, as little screen time she got, but Tilda Swinton as the Angel Gabriel, just brilliant. Every time she was on screen, I was hooked. I was focusing so intently on the screen. She brings such a interesting dynamic to her performance. It's very, very subtle yet justified, and she's one of the only characters in the film who had a solid reason I could actually get behind. She does not like what God is doing and wants it to change. She doesn't go about it the right way, but there's just something about her performance in this film that really made me go, yeah, I like that. That would really, really set in here really well. My second thing I really did enjoy about this film, oddly enough, was Keanu Reeves as Constantine. Yeah, I mean, he did not look like the character, because, funny enough, they actually based the character on the singer Sting. Yeah. Apparently, back in the 90s, when they were trying to think up a new character, the creators really, really wanted this character to look like Sting. And, of course, they made him a blonde Liverpudlian, and Keanu Reeves is a black-haired, soulless, emotionless robot. But this performance, it really worked. I could have done with a bit more sarcasm from him, from what I've seen from the TV show and some of the animations I've watched with Constantine. He needed a bit more sarcasm, but he definitely got the tone of, "I just don't give a fuck." He got that down perfectly. And of course, my number one favourite thing about this entire film, the imagery of hell. Yeah, I've already admitted that it doesn't work well, but just looking at hell in this film is amazing. The visuals, the corpses, the demons, everything about it is a really, really good image, and I couldn't take my eyes away from the screen. And I was absorbed. I was truly well I had to keep pausing it frame by frame just to see if I could see anything new and different, and each time I did. And for that alone, I think that deserves top praise. So after all that, I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 10. It looked and sounded great. I mean, really, really great. But at the end of it all, when you look back on it, you realise there's so many things that just didn't make sense, and there was too many, I wouldn't say plot holes, but things that just didn't go anywhere. And the devil scene, that took off 2 points at least, just on its own. It was so bad. However, I recommend giving it a watch to really, truly see what I mean. But thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and as always, leave me a dirty comment. And I'll see you next time for V for Vendetta. Take care now.